I didn't go beyond the typical female roles. I made this determination that I was going to be a teacher. Well, when I look back, I think that I would have been much more satisfied by being a principal of a school than a teacher, but that never occurred to me. I don't think I got a lot of coaching to sort of think broadly and think widely.
After finishing graduate school, everyone goes through that applying to jobs phase. And I definitely felt between my female and my male friends that, my male friends were willing to sort of apply to any job that was out there. My female friends were only really willing to apply to the ones that they felt they were qualified for, or they could sort of check all the boxes. A lot of my friends, female friends, were sort of just willing to take, whatever the offer was and not push back. I just think they're not as willing to push for a higher wage.
I worked for a large oil company, and I wasn't an engineer and I wasn't a guy, so some people thought I was kind of an idiot. It was, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with you? A girl, not an engineer. A number of years after that particular position, I was in an administrative position, and I found out I had made $10,000 and $15,000 less than all the men. And I was just telling somebody, one of the interesting points about that is I realize now, all these years later, I'm still suffering because I am not going to make the same amount of money in Social Security benefits that those men will.
A challenge for women in this area is childcare, as in other, I think, rural areas. Is just either not enough childcare or not adequate enough childcare. And I think that can really affect what they take as far as a job. They might take a less demanding job or a less challenging job or a lower paying job because they need someone to take care of their kid, and it's going to end up being them. And so, I think if we had better and more available childcare, you would see a lot more women more actively engaged in the workforce.
I mean, it really is the challenge of being able to support a family economically and be there for them. I mean, to spend time with your children takes time, and you only have so much time.
It was so standard operating procedure that if you went to a party or you went to an event, you were definitely going to be hit on by somebody. That was just accepted at the time. People, especially of my generation, you encountered it all, no matter where you went. It's just was part of life.
I would look at the kinds of ways of supporting women that are incentives for them to have more time with their children and supporting their children. There are a lot of volunteer activities that some parents have the economic support to be able to offer, and those kids benefit. Whereas parents that are struggling economically can't volunteer as a chaperone on the Washington, D.C. trip, or go skiing at Mount Snow as a chaperone, and all of those things really build relationships with your kids that you can't do when you get home from work at 6 o'clock and you're tired and dinner isn't on the table.
So if I were going to do one thing for women, I only had one thing I could do to have equal pay. That would be a place to start, and that would be something you could be policy versus trying to retrain and teach and eliminate all the things. If I just had one thing, that would at least be a policy that you could say women in the same jobs need the same pay.
You can affect change here very, very easily. Within my first year here, I've joined a board. I've been recruited to a task force by the governor. I work in all of the towns in Wyndham County. So I'm interacting with people, who sort of make town level decisions on a regular basis. In other places, in bigger cities, you don't necessarily have that power. And so move to Vermont because you do.